So now let's check how we can apply the view child for a child component, actual component. So first, before we go for that, let's create a child component since we don't have any child components right now. So I'm using Angular schematics and I create a child component. Okay. I should be in the root project folder. So now that the child component is created, okay, now I can use that child, app child here. Okay, right now if you see, child works, but there is nothing. Let me just push this content to again center. And I'll just keep this here. So now the content came into the middle. Now what I'll do is how we can get hold of it. Right now, first we'll go to the child component, app child component. Okay, within this component, what we will do is we will add couple of methods. Get welcome message, and within this we will return welcome back to from child component. Okay, right now this particular method is in child component. Okay, also we'll add one field name also. Okay, we'll say name equal to Shiva. Okay, so now this particular field as well as the message method, these two are within the child component. Let's get hold of these two methods from the child and use it in the parent. Okay, so the parent, of course, it is app component, and if you want to see within the Angular tab, you see app root, app child. So this is the parent and this is the child, and even you can see the structure of the component right now. So within the app component there is a child component. Okay, we are looking at this is part of the child component. This is child component is part of the app component. This is how it is represented. Okay, router outlet will be by default, it is part of any component, so it is child for any component. So the one that we created is child component. Okay, just for your understanding, I'm showing this. Okay, now so since this is a child component, how we can get hold of the child component in the parent is, this is a parent using view child. Within the view child, directly we have to refer the child component and the type of the component is child component type. Okay, okay, so by default Angular configuration that we added, it will throw the error unless we use it, until we use it. So for that reason I just added. Okay, now what we can do is I'll add a button click, and within this I'll call the child component dot name. So this is the name. This is how I can get hold of the child component name. What we have in the child component, it is Shiva. Okay, so that value we'll get, and here this dot name equal to this one. So this name we are getting it from the child. I'm just defining a name here, empty name, to get hold of the name value in the parent. Right now this name value is coming from the child, and at the same time what I'll do is I'll call the other method, welcome message method, from the child. So the name is coming from child, welcome message is coming from child. Here the welcome message, I'll assign it to message property, and now I can use this name and message in the parent, which is app component HTML. Now let me just print this instead of this name and the welcome message. What was it? It's a message. Okay, let's see. Name does not exist on child component. Okay, there is a name. Why does it not exist? Oh, okay, got it. Now I understand why it is not displayed in the parent. Why? Because I added it in the click event. I need to write a button to click that so that it will be visible. Okay, so now to see this content, let me just add a button. Let me just add this button within here and click to see child content, and for this particular function button, I'll add a click event, and the event name should be this one. Sorry, not this one. Click event. Now, so when I click this button, it will get the content from the child and it display on the parent. Okay, now you see this particular message came from child but rendered onto the parent. Okay, let's see. If you see, this is app child. Okay, if I close this one, okay, this particular content that you are seeing, this is part of the parent, which is app route, and if you see, this is under the parent, not under the child. Okay, so under the child only this content is there, but this particular content that I am displaying, it is under the parent component, not on the child component, but the data came from the child component. So this is how we can share the data from the child component to the parent component using viewChild. Got it? Let's just understand one more time. So this is the child component. There is a name Shiva and the message in the child component, and we are calling, and within the parent component, when I click the button, I'm getting hold of the child name as well as the function, because I'm able to get hold of the child using viewChild. So because it is a type child component, that's why I'm using this type, and I get hold of the child component, and when I click the button on the UI, it is getting the name of the child component name field as well as the welcome message, and these two are part of the parent, and I'm using these two to display on the page. This is how the viewChild works with the components. So these are the three different ways we can apply the viewChild. First one is to a native HTML element. Second one is to directly apply for the child component, and third way is we can apply the viewChild to a directive, and still we can get hold of the directive fields or methods in the parent component. That's all from this video. Thank you. See you in the next video.